Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Zihir Basha. Tonight, let's kick things off with Asia's best pole vaulter, EJ Obiena.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Inside the Game. My name is Boom Gonzalez with the man, the man of the moment, the man of the hour, EJ Obiena. This is a completely different level now that you're reaching. Is it safe to say this is the best year of your competitive career?
Depends on how the rest of the year goes, but I think we started on a good side and we started on a good note. But yeah, I mean, I think it just shows like last year there's a lot of things that was going on that I was not able to actually fully train and fully commit myself to the craft that I'm supposed to be focusing at or obsessing at. And if you remember there was a time that my coach was saying, you know, why is this happening now? This is a time where we're supposed to harvest the hard work that we have done. And I think this is just the shade of what we actually have been working on. It's a shade of what we want to do. There's still a lot of things I need to do to make this materialize and to have it a good year, like you said.
Yeah, just a quick throwback to the last SEA Games. Obviously, it was a success. I mean, it was for the country, it was for the flag. You got your goals, you defended, you shattered, you set new records. In terms of your year, I know how in your sport you ramp up, right, to a certain level. And in your words, you hit multiple peaks. So the SEA Games, you know, was part of a bigger plan, and yet you dominated and was successful. How did that happen? Just to recap the SEA Games.
The SEA Games was a bit of it was the odd one in the major championship for this year. It was a bit of a challenge going in because I was not sure in what shape I would be, because we're not going to risk the rest of the season for SEA Games at that time. And it just so happened my coach is a genius and he's able to, you know, prepare me and be able to, he knows that I'm capable of a certain height for me to win the SEA Games. And I guess, you know, the 55 years of experience of coaching definitely paid off, and it was a gamble that we needed to do. But as I said, it was a gamble that is well calculated.
Which brings us to, you talked about heights. The other achievement of this year was the 6 meter club. And again, I point to our last conversation when we were in the studio together and how there was an obsession towards that number. And why not? You know, first Asian, less than 30 to be able to do it. Your name's forever etched there. Nobody's going to be able to take that away from you. Were those the reasons why you were so emotional about it? Or were there other reasons now that you've been detached from it for a while that made it such a huge deal for you?
Well, if I didn't jump 6 meters this year, I was gonna shave my head. That was the bet with my coach. So I didn't want to shave my head.
Hey, I would want to see that.
Kidding aside, but that was actually for real. But kidding aside, it was a mark that I actually wanted to do, not just for me. I think it just shows the work that we've been doing, me and my coach, and I knew I was capable of it. Like I told it last year, a couple of months. I knew that I was capable of it. I knew that I could do it. It's just a matter of, can I actually make it? Like do it in an actual competition. It was that, and I'm pretty sure in the history of pole vaulting, there's a lot of people who have said, "Oh, I know I could do it," and the people who actually have done it.
Yeah.
And I was worried that in which side am I on? And being able to jump on the other side and be able to make it is definitely a big side of relief. Jumping 6 meters and being the first Asian, that also means the first in the history of sport to have jumped over 6 meters in the continent of Asia is a Filipino. I used to think, okay, I want to hold the Asian record, but then that is, that could be broken. Like, oh, the Asian record is now held by a Filipino, that could be broken. But now in the rest of the history, nobody can change that. Oh yeah, there's another Asian. No, the first is gonna be Filipino forever. And I think that's goosebumps, because I really do take pride about that, and I'm really happy and just overall just proud of that achievement or accomplishment, because it's something that a lot of pole vaulter aim to do, but few are actually able to do it.
Was breaking or getting into the 6 meter club, did it free your mind that even made you perform better moving forward, and then now obviously qualifying for Paris and Stockholm? Because the obsession was so huge. I remember you were so passionate about it, but now that you got it, it's out of the way. It can never be taken away from you. Did it free your mind in terms of competition?
It's actually the first time someone asked me if it actually made me better. Thinking now, I have not think about this that deeply. I think it does. It liberates a little bit of it, and but it's not a significant change, I would say, in my way of competing. It's not that I'm saying that I'm the way I approach the game. It's just jumping 6 meters in a meet does not amplifies the way I'm able to compete, and I think it does make it easier for me. It does give me confidence in myself, but it doesn't change it in such a big magnitude. Just
kind of ease the burden. It's already done. I move on to the next. The next goal obviously was to qualify. You hit the 5.82 in Stockholm. You did not get the gold. You obviously, it would have been better, but did it feel like gold for you because of the Paris qualifications, which you've been talking about also for quite a while?
It's not okay. Well, we got to be honest, right? It didn't feel like it's gold. I think it's a little bit far from it. Qualifying for Paris, of course, it is an achievement. I'm very happy about it. I'm glad that it's out of the way. I'm very, thankful that I'm able to do it in the first go. But I wanted to win, and I think it was something that I wanted to do, and I believe that I'm capable of doing it. It is possible. There's a lot of things that happened, and I think I could have competed better. So it not necessarily gave me, I was happy that I qualified, but that registered. But then I'm still in competition. I'm still gunning for what I came here to do.
You want to win.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was not able to pull that off. But how do you say, the French says, it's c'est la vie, it's life.
It was Mondo's hometown, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes. So he won it in his hometown. Mondo Duplantis, of course. And that's the answer that I would want to hear from you, honestly, that you still wanted to win. Qualifying is one thing, winning the competition is another. And I know there's another chance for you to do that. And you've had such a tremendous run. I don't think you have all your outdoor competitions, if I'm not mistaken, you've all finished in the podium. So if I'm not mistaken, that's how great this run of yours has been. The Tokyo Olympics, what were the lessons now that your head is in Paris and you can look back at Tokyo, which was such a challenging staging of the Olympics for everybody? What are the lessons for you that you can take to Paris?
I would not let anybody get in my way. I might be respectful. I would be very, careful in the way I talk to people. I would be very smart in the way I deliver myself, but I would not let anybody that could derail the things that I want to do. It's been, I've learned that the hard way. It's something that I would not allow ever again, and it's something that I would not, it's gonna be a decision that's very easy for me to make. That's how important Paris for me is. So I would do whatever I need to prepare for Paris. I would do whatever I believe is right for me to be able to perform at my highest. It's just the way I would believe Tokyo would have been different. But now I'm given another chance, another opportunity, and it's a rare thing to even happen. So I would not let some debacle just, I would do whatever in my power and be able to carry myself in the best position going into Paris.
Now that gave me goosebumps. Not a lot of people get to go, obviously, to one. You get another shot at it, so I'm sure, you no stone left unturned, as they say, for your Paris competition. I love it. I love talking to you, man. You always give me, me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Give us inspiration and motivation whenever we hear these fighting words from you. I wish you, more importantly, I wish you to stay healthy, because it starts from there, so that you can do whatever it is that you need to do and achieve whatever it is that you need to achieve. So stay healthy, and thanks for taking the time and talking to us here on The Game, EJ.
Thank you very much, sir.
That was Boom Gonzalez with EJ Obiena for Inside the Game. After the break, we'll shift to volleyball as we find out some courtside stories from a new PVL insider. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back. You're watching The Game. The PVL may be on a break this week, but we've got a lot of courtside stories to share from the first few games of the Invitational Conference. Now, let's relive some of the best moments from the heated clash between the Signal HC Spikers and the F2 Logistic Cargo Movers with the newest PVL insider graduating from the UAAP, Kyla King-Su. Hello, welcome. Welcome to the PVL. How do you feel about that, making that transition from the colleges to the pros?
It feels so surreal. I had a mini reunion nga with Jolina and Mars covering my first game for F2 against Signal. And it was so fulfilling, and I was just so happy to have my PVL debut alongside Jolina and Mars, who are such a big part of my journey.
I mean, aside from having this mini reunion, like what was it that made you so excited to, finally cover the pros, and then bonus pa yung makover mo si F2?
Yeah.
Yes, covering F2, I guess, it was just kaka-proud talaga watching them transition to the pros, really embracing the challenge given to them by Coach Reg to be starters for the first two
Right.
games. And, they came up with another win, their second win of the conference.
You mentioned Jolina, you mentioned Mars, and I could only imagine na, okay, first game nila sa pros, maybe a little bit of nerves, kinakabahan ng konti. How did you feel when you made your debut? And of course, nakarelate ka ba to what they felt, if they've ever told you anything about it?
Definitely. I had the first day jitters as per usual. I actually went to the Signal dugout first, and there, the first person I interviewed was Rachel. And she was kind enough to introduce me to the rest of her teammates. Given a, first time courtside for PVL, I was very nervous. But, I asked Rachel, what's new with Signal this time around? They were coming off their first win of the conference. And she told me that this version of Signal, they've already gone through their lapses and studied their weaknesses. And this time, may hugot sila to really bounce back in this conference.
I mean, seeing and being with Rachel on your first day on the job, like, how was it? Like, did she exude any vibe of, as being the leader of the team?
Yes, definitely. She is the captain after all for a reason, and she was really on fire in set 2 of the last matchup. And although she's very talented and famous as we know her, she was very sweet and humble toward me.
Yeah, and Rachel, she's a queen in many ways and very good at making sure that everyone feels at home. And speaking about making some of her teammates feel at home, Vanny Gander coming in for Signal after her Ateneo graduation.
Literally,
Again, literal from the colleges to the pros. I mean, Vanny Gander, I'm sure you have something to say about her.
Yeah, so actually I spoke to Coach Shaq before the game about Vanny, and he told me that since day one of approaching her and trying to recruit her, she's always been very open and humble. And she expressed that all she wants in the pros is to really grow as much as she can. And, her coming straight from her graduation is just a testament to her commitment, not only to the team, but to her personal growth.
I mean, how was the situation over at the bench, at the courtside, when Vanny showed up mid-game?
It was an intense four-setter. Yeah, she showed up
Yeah.
mid-game. And actually, I saw her right before I was about to report. So I got to add it in that, she's warming up in the sidelines and we might be seeing action from her.
She didn't run in with a toga though, right? I mean,
No.
no. Okay, just making sure. All right, so apart from the fact that you have now graduated from the UAP to the PVL, that also means that the slot for DLSU is now open in terms of the correspondence for the UAP. In fact, they're doing a search for that right now. When you look back at your experience as a UAP correspondent, for those interested in actually doing what you did, just how did it change your life? How did it change the way that you look at this work that you're doing? And of course, how special is it in terms of your experience?
As you mentioned, the UAAP really changed my life. It was a huge plot twist. I've mentioned this before, but I grew up as a dancer who really didn't have the time to learn, watch, or join any other sports. But I learned along the way that as long as you have a growth mindset, you're willing to put in the work and show up prepared, then you can make anything happen.
So you don't need the background for it, as long as you can even be a dancer, okay lang yan. You
Okay
might
lang.
end up as the next correspondent. And Z, how do they do that?
Well, you gotta be part of the family that will fuel the future as a UAAP Season 86 correspondent. Check out the UAAP Varsity channel on social media to find out how you can send in your application.
All right, so that was Kyla Kingsu. Maraming salamat. We really
you so
appreciate the
much.
time, especially from all the Lasalians to you. Thank you very much for your service last season.
Yes.
And of course, Animo Lasal, and we'll see you in the PVL. Maraming salamat.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, after the break, we'll find out more about Gilas Pilipinas pool member Poy Erram and his lifelong dream of representing the country on the court. Keep it here. You're watching The Game.
Poy Erram will never say no to a chance to play for the Philippines.
Simula nung bata pa ako simula nung natuto ko mag-basketball, simula nung sinasabihan ako na hindi ako walang mararating, ganyan. So, for me, every time na magnanknock yung door ng Gilas Pilipinas para sa akin, it's always a no-brainer. Laging oo yung sagot ko kasi ever since bata ako, yun yung pangarap ko
Even when the situation is unfavorable,
Mag-i-improve kayo, tapos condition ng katawan nyo talagang mag-i-improve din. Pati yung attitude, mag-i-improve din. So ako, doon ako nag-rely. Kasi sabi ko rin naman sa wife ko, hindi sure na malaline up ako dito, pero sure ako na mag-i-improve ako. Sure ako na pagbalik ko, ibang player ako pagbalik ko after itong training kamo itong mga tune-up namin.
the first Gilas stint for the Jakarta Palembang Asian Games. It was a time when the mainstays were not available due to suspensions. He fought for a spot and battled as best as he could, even losing a couple of teeth in one particular match. Erram would return to Indonesia years later as he also joined a very young Gilas squad in the FIBA Asia Cup with basically no rest from his PBA duties with TNT. Now he knows a spot in the final 12 for the World Cup is not guaranteed for anyone.
For me, as a basketball player, yung growth ng knowledge ko, mas lalaki pa, diba? And then, syempre, hindi naman ako bumabata Umaano na rin ako, tumatanda na rin ako. So, nandun na rin ako, transitioning na din ako kahit paano dun sa yung knowledge na matututunan ko, masishare ko pagbalik ko sa team, dun sa mga mas bata sa akin. So, dun, yun ang goal ko. Is to, malayo na pa ako, hindi, I'm happy kasi alam ko, makakatulong ako sa team kahit man lang sa practice, makapagsalita ako, makapagsabi ako sa kanila kung anong dapat gawin.
Competing for one of 12 roster spots against World Cup veterans Junmar Fajardo and Japet Aguilar and exciting youngsters such as Kai Soto and AJ Edu, Erram knows that he has a lot of work to do.
Kasama mo, yun nga, sabi mo may mga pangalan na sila Japet, si Junmar, sila keeper internationally, di ba? So, being with this guy, sila Justin Brownlee, makasama mo, being with them, knowing kung ano yung alam nila sa basketball, and then to share sa lahat sa amin, tapos lalo na sa akin, ma-share sa akin sila Junmar, sila Japet, ma-share man nila, tapos makita ko yung work ethic nila kung gaano sila magtrabaho. Malaking bagay na yun para sa akin.
But with his continued improvement and development personally and professionally, Erram will give it his all and accept whatever result.
One thing, pag sinabi na, oy, laro ka sa Gilas, okay, sige, lahat ng outside noise, wala yun. Lahat ng problema ko outside, wala. Alam nila yun na parang, pag sinabi mong Poy na Gilas, ito na yung buo. Wala kang maririnig, walang problema, walang kahit na ano, walang negative, wala.
Here we go, now Pilipinas!
From Tallinn, Estonia, Carlo Pamintuan.
Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ziher Basho.
And I'm Paolo De Rosario. This has been The Game.